just to get your group working. Okay, so now let's have a look at Git, like team usage of Git. So last lecture, we talked about how to use Git for individual use, so for one single user. So now we'll talk about how to use Git as a team. So Git is primarily more useful when working as a team. So this is one major learning outcome of this course as well, like how we can manage a group project, software project. And Git is one of the major tools that you will need to manage a software group. And we can use Git to work with others effectively by using branching, merging, and others. So today, very similar to our last lecture, we'll do a lot of demos. So we will explain the concepts using demos, but we'll also introduce you with the concept, like the theory behind the demo. So here's what we had from our last lecture, where we explaining Git solo usage, like working directory, staging area, local repo, and remote repo. So before we move on to group work using Git, this like a recap of what we have learned from last week. This was a saying that everything that you committed will never get lost. So you can always go back using time machine to a previous version of your work. So you do not need to stress if there's any conflicts between you and your team members' work. So as long as you commit your work, it can never get lost, and you can always get it fixed. So do you know why? Like why we can say that whenever we commit something, it will always be there and never get lost? It's because Git is powerful, like we mentioned, like everything in the staging area, and when we're using Git commit, we will take a snapshot of the current, of your work of the current stage, right? So everything is snapshot. So we have a record, like you can check using Git log, check all the commit history, and each commit will include a state of your work, including all the changes and other like working environments, everything was taken a snapshot. So this is very powerful. Now, when we move on to working in a software group, one important thing is called a branch. So the Git repo is like a tree structure like this. So everything starts from the main branch of your work, or sometimes it's also called master. So master and main, they are basically the same. Like master is kind of an old school term of main, but they are the main branch of your work. So everything in the main or master branch is to be used by the users. So we will normally deploy or put everything on the master branch for the user to use. But we also want to make changes. So for example, Netflix. Netflix is always adding features, changing things. But we do not want what is working at the back end of thing to interrupt the user's experience. Right? We still want Netflix to be able to use by the users while we're making changes, fixing bugs, right? So this is what we can do by having a branch. So a branch will copy all the history or everything that you had before on the main or master branch. But you can you hear the noise? Sorry. Is that better? Better? Okay, cool. So now what we can do is we can start a new branch of your work. And on that new branch, you can add more features, fixing bugs, but you are not affecting or influencing anything on the main or master branch. So the users are still seeing or using whatever you have on the master branch. All right. So this is one of the purpose having the branches. But also, another important thing is we may have different people working on different features. So you do not want to have too much interactions between each other's work. So you can create multiple branches here when you are fixing different bugs or adding different features. But eventually, you will merge everything back to the main or master branch that the users can see or use. Yeah, so this is branch. And this is why we have branches. How branches work, so you can imagine it like a tree structure. So everything starts from here. Can you see my mouse on the screen? Yeah, so everything starts from here. So when you create a new branch here for your work, you will copy everything in the log, like in the Git history from the master branch. So everything before you break up the branch, like everything before you create this new branch, like all the commit history, everything in the repo will be copied for your work here. So you will have the full commit history before you create the branch. And similarly here, for someone else's work, and when you create this new branch will also have all the commit history before you create this branch. So it will have the commit history or Git history, everything from here. But it won't have anything on the blue branch, because the blue branch's work is not merged back to the main branch yet before we create the yellow branch. Does that make sense? Yeah, question?
Like, for example, the blue branch merges into that green branch.
Yeah.
And then we merge the orange branch. Does that get all the commit history of the blue branch and the master branch at the same time?
That's a very good question. So the question was, because we merged the yellow branch after we merged the blue branch. So will this has all the commit histories from the blue branch as well? Any guess or any thoughts? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because they all merge into a single branch.
Because they all merge single branch. Yes. So this is a very powerful feature of Git. Like, it will keep all the commit histories. So nothing will get lost. So you will get a history of everything. So you can always go back to the time machine. Yeah. Any questions so far while we're talking about the theory or the concept part before we move to the demo? All good? Okay, so let's have a look of what we had from last week. So last week, we created this fantastic untitled project. And now we have three files for this untitled project. We had README file, we had the Git, we had the hello text file. So this is what we had from last week. And now what we want to do is I'm going to add a new feature for this untitled project. So before I do that, I will create a new feature branch for my new feature. So what I can do is by using Git checkout. Yeah, so before that, we can have a look at what are the branches that we have now by using Git branch. So you can see that we are currently on this main branch, and this is the only branch that we have for this untitled project. So if we want to create a new branch, what can we do? So there are two ways that we can create this new branch. So one way is using Git branch and then the name of this new feature branch. What kind of feature do we want to add for this untitled project? Animals? Animal branch. So we are going to add a branch called animal branch. So by using git branch followed by the name of this new branch, we will create a new branch called animal branch. But when you check using git branch, you can see that although a new branch has been created called animal branch, we are still on this main branch. So if we now add more files or add changes, we are still adding these changes on this main branch instead of the animal branch. So to make changes on the animal branch, we need to first transit or check out to the animal branch. So to check out or switch to the animal branch, the way we use is git checkout and then animal branch. You can see that switched to branch, animal branch. And now when you check using git branch, you can see that the star showing that where we are now, so which branch we are now. So you can see that we are now on the animal branch. So now when we make changes, we are making changes on the animal branch. And we can check using git log. You can see that all the commit history still exists. So although we are now on this new animal branch, it copied all the commit history from the main branch. So everything is copied. And now you can add things. So what files do we have? We have git, we have hello. Can we have a new file and animals to this new file called animals.txt? And now you can see that we created a new file called animals.txt, and this change is made on the animal branch. And we can add more animals.txt. What animal do you like? Tiger? Rabbit? Yeah, so now we add some changes to this animal file. So what should we do now? So I've done everything for this animal feature. What should I do now? Sorry, what? Git add? Anyone say git add? So I can add this new change to the staging area. So git add animals.txt. And you can check by using git status. So this is our recap from last week. So you can use git status to check, like now we are on branch animal branch, and these are the changes to be committed, right? So this new change is already on the staging area and ready to be committed. So we can use git commit. Can anyone give me a commit message? Add animal file, animal.txt. And now, although we have commit this change, like this animal feature, it's still sitting on my local repo, right? So other people working on this project cannot see my changes. So what I need to do now is using git push. However, there will be an error message. Git push. So you can see that when I use git push, and it says that current branch, animal branch, has no upstream branch. To push the current branch and set the remote as upstream, use this. What is the reason? So we used the git add, git commit, and then git push, and it worked perfectly last time, like in our last lecture. So now why there's an error message? Like we did the same as what we did last week.
It's not part of the main branch.
Sorry?
Has it not been merged yet, the main branch?
It's not been merged, the main branch yet. So that's a very good guess. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
So we only have local properties of the branch is only a local property.
Yeah, so we created this branch by using git branch and then animals branch, but we created this branch locally, right? So this branch only exists on my laptop. It's not on the remote repo yet. So when you go back to the git repo, like the remote repo here, and you refresh it, you can. So yeah, one hint like how to check the branches on remote repo on the GitLab platform is by clicking on this. You can see that the branches here, we only have main branch on the remote repo so far. So we cannot push the changes that we created for the animal branch to the remote repo because there isn't this animal branch on the remote repo yet. So Git cannot figure out how we can push the changes to the animal repo on GitLab, right? So to do that, we need to follow the hint provided by Git by setting the upstream. So setting up this branch on the remote repo. So what we can do is by git push set upstreams origin and then animal branch, and it will ask for your password, and then everything works now. So where is it? Yeah, where is it? Yeah, set upstream basically set the upstream. So set the remote branch for you. And origin, you can think of it like remote. So every branch on the remote repo start with like origin. And then now when you refresh this GitLab repo, when you click on this button, you can see that there are 2 branches now. So other than the main branch, we also have the animal branch. So the branch is added. And when you click on here, you can see that we got the animal.txt on the animal branch. So this file is added here. However, when you switch back to main, you can see that the animals.txt is not on the main branch yet. It only sits on the animal branch. So this is useful when we want to separate like the features. And without interrupting the main branch, like the users are using, we can add new features without interrupting what the users can see or use. And not only what the users can see or use, but also what your team members are working on. You are not interrupting your team members' work too much. Sorry, just a pause to answer questions from online. What slides are we on? We are on the Git team usage slide. So this is the slide that we are currently working on. Yeah, I think that's the question. Okay, so now I think I've done everything for my animal branch, for the animal feature. Now I want my users to use my animal feature. So I need to merge the animal branch back to the main branch. Right, so what should I do? So how can I merge it back to the main branch? The way that we use is called git merge. Yeah, question?
Question. Did you check out back to main in your local repos?
Yeah.
Is that new files there?
Good question. So just to repeat for online, the question is if I git checkout to the main branch on my local laptop, will the local repo on the main branch has the animal text, so the new file? So before I answer that, let's have a look. Do you remember how to check out to the main branch? Git check out main. And you can see that switched it to branch main. And then when you list all the file, no, the changes are not there yet. The changes are only on the animal branch. Right. So now, if we want to merge this animal feature to the main branch, what we can do is first check out to main, and then using git merge the animal branch. And it's a fast forward merge. You can see that the changes is like we add the animal.txt and there are 4 changes. So 1 file changed and 4 insertions. So merged successfully. Right. And we can add more branches. So for example, we can use git branch vegetables branch. And git how to switch to the vegetables branch. Git checkout, yes, git checkout, and then vegetables branch. And similarly, we can do things like add files, change things on this vegetable branch, and then we can merge back to the main branch. So this is how we merge back to the main branch. However, there are many instances that you want to merge the main branch to your feature branch. This is because your team members may be making changes to the main branch, and you want your new feature to work well with what other people has changed on the main branch. Right? So there are instances that you want to merge changes from main to your feature branch. Right, so when people are making changes on the main branch, you want to avoid that when you merge your feature branch back to the main, there are not too many conflicts. So merging regularly from the main branch to your feature branch and solve conflicts as often and as early as possible. Right, so you do not want when the main branch had changed a lot, but you stayed on the feature branch and ignore the changes on the main branch. And when you want to merge your feature branch back to the main branch, there's a huge conflict that you need to resolve. So this is things that you do not want to see. All right. So a good habit is to merge the main branch to your feature branch regularly and resolve conflicts as often and as early as possible. So how to merge the main branch to the feature branch is by, first of all, check which branch you are currently on. Like we are currently on the vegetable branch, and use git merge main, so you can merge everything from the main branch to your feature branch. And if there's any conflict, solve it, and then updating your feature or adding feature for the vegetable feature. Right? Yeah. So for your major project, you will also sometimes you will also see there's some merge request for your major project or merge request for your labs. So sometimes the course will push some minor merge updates to your project. For example, fixing some typos, fixing some minor starter code issues, but the merge request pushed by the course won't cause big issues for your project or your lab. They are just fixing minor things. So for example, sorry, I'll leave that example for your future lecture. But merge from main branch to your feature branch is a good habit to do. Any questions so far? All good. And you may have the question about what if a conflict happens. So it's the same with what we have demoed from last week. So merge conflicts. So you can just delete the lines that you don't like and keep the lines that you want to keep, and then push the change back. It's the same. So question from online. So we make branches containing the same main file, and merging branches just combine the files to add what one has and what main doesn't. For project, would we make one branch for each member? This is a very good question. Yes, so that will be a good habit. And when you look at the spec for iteration 0, we have very detailed instruction, like how you can work in a group for the major project. So very, very detailed instructions. And the answer to the question is yes. So another question by Siri online is, if I just change the code using the edit option in the GitLab website without using commit and stuff, is that an issue? So this is a good question that we haven't had a chance to demo here. So other than making changes on the command tool, like on the terminal, we can also do what you are used to do. Like you can also edit the file on your VS Code and add files, making changes to it so it works the same. It's just a different editor. So it's just a different editor. So the editor on VS Code or editor on command line, like using VI. So VI is also an editor. So they are all editors. So they are basically the same. And we can also make edits or make changes on the GitLab platform. So on the GitLab platform, we can also, for example, have a look at this hello file. You can add it here. So there's a quick IDE tool that you can edit directly here. But it's basically the same. You still need to add, commit, and push. It's just an editor. And you can add it directly online, like without opening your VS Code. So this is useful when you want to make a quick edit. But it's just a editor. Nothing major different. Another question online from Rai. So if we want to merge our animal branch into our main branch, which branch should we be on? Any thoughts, any answer for this question from Raya? So if we want to merge animal branch to main branch, which branch should we be on before we use git merge? Main, that's right. So you need to be on the branch that you want to get other branches merged to. So if you want to merge animal branch to main branch, you need to be on the main branch before run git merge animal branch. So if you are on the animal branch and you run git merge main, you are adding main to animal branch. Does that make sense? Yeah. Petra said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Yes, he said, when I delete the file in both branches and main, there happened to be a bunch of push and pull issues showing up in the terminal. What specific issue happens here? Delete file in both branches and main. So it depends. So the question is, if we delete files in the animal branch and delete some files in the main branch, and when we run git pull and push, there will be some conflict. So it really depends on whether you are deleting the same file on the different branch or not. But deleting file can cause conflict. And this kind of conflict cannot be resolved by Git itself. So it cannot be automatically resolved. So you will need to resolve the conflict yourself. But as we mentioned, like pulling regularly and solving conflicts early can avoid like solving big or large conflicts. So similarly from merging from main to a feature branch, you will also need to pulling from, remember how we pull changes from remote repo? Recap from last, so git branch. We are now on vegetable branch. Is vegetable branch on remote repo yet? No, it's not. So we git checkout to main, and then we can run git pull to pull the changes on the remote repo. And you can see that there's a merge. Which branch are we currently on? Git branch. Yeah, we are currently on main. And when we run git pull, oh, it says already up to date. Okay, so by running git pull, you are pulling other team members' change to your local repo. And you solve conflicts. So you will learn a lot of practicing a lot about solving conflicts. So solving conflicts is quite important. So not only in this small project, but also in many open source projects. So when you are working and collaborating with others on the same project, you will always be solving conflicts. But you will get practice on that. Another thing that is important to mention is, so we showed that how we merge the animal branch to main branch. However, in practice, or in many important large projects like Netflix or even on our major project, the main branch will be locked, meaning that you cannot merge your feature branch directly to the main branch. This is to protect the main branch. So to make sure that if there's anything wrong in your feature branch, you cannot merge directly to the main branch. So it will affect how the users use your software, right? So the way that we have is you create a merge request, and the merge request needs to be approved by another team members before you merge back to the main branch. The way we do it is by using the GitLab platform. So for example, you can see that, let's use the vegetable branch as an example. So because the vegetable branch is still clean now, git check out vegetables branch and git push. Again, we follow the hints using git push setup stream. Okay, so now we pushed the vegetable branch to remote repo. And you can see that we pushed that to the vegetable branch. And the way that we create this merge request is by clicking on the button here. So we are merging the vegetable branch to main. Right, so do not merge to main on your terminal. The main branch is locked for your major project. So what you need to do is you need to create this new merge request, and it will create a commit on your commit history. Right, and give it a title, add vegetables branch. And you can describe the changes you have made in your vegetable branch, like whether you're fixing a bug, whether you're adding a new feature, or what you are doing. And then you need to add an assignee, a reviewer. So who in your team will need to review this merge? Review any change made on this vegetable branch. So I'm the only one in this project, so I'm assigning to myself. And then create this merge request and ready to merge. So I can't see it. So somebody, because this is assigned to me as a reviewer, so I can see this tab. But if you assign somebody else as the reviewer for your merge request, they will see this, and they can review your changes and then merge. You can see that, so that's in reality or in industry how it works. So the purpose is to protect the mainstream, the main branch, to make sure that everything on the main branch can work well. Yeah, question?
Before you approved the merge branch, I noticed there was an option to delete source branch. So I remember in the first lab, we told us to take off that option. So would you keep it on or?
Follow the instructions. So in reality, it will depends. So sometimes if the feature branch you no longer need that, you can delete that. Yeah. Question from online. Oh, so would it be preferable? So the question from Rai is, would it be preferable to start on our animal branch, merge our main branch with it to resolve any issues, then switch to main and merge? Your thoughts? So the question is, would it be preferable to start on our animal branch, merge our main branch into animal branch, resolve any issues, and then switch to main and merge? Is that right? Is that preferable? Do you understand the question? So the question is, we made some changes on the animal branch, right? So before we push the animal branch to main branch, is that preferable to merge the main branch to the animal branch, solve any conflicts before we merge the animal branch back to the main branch? Yes, so this is also a very good question. So this is a good practice. Before you merge the animal branch back to main branch, merge the main branch to animal branch, resolve conflicts, and then merge the animal branch back to main branch. So you are resolving conflicts on the animal branch, so the feature branch, rather than resolving any conflicts on the main branch. All right? Yeah? Yeah, cool. It's asking where's Rennie. I'm also wondering where's Rennie. Does pulling from the remote repo include? The question is, does pulling from the remote repo include the branches on the remote repo? Okay. You have asked very good questions. So the question is, we showed pulling from the main branch on remote repo. So how about if we want to pull another branch on the remote repo? What should we do? So what we can do is by using, okay, so let's check which branch are we currently on. So we are on the vegetable branch. So what if we want to pull the remote, let's go back to Git. So what if we want to pull the animal branch from the remote repo to the vegetable branch? We can run git pull, and remember that we say origin means basically remote. So if you are pulling from remote, you can use origin, and then animals branch. So you are pulling from the remote repo animal branch to the current branch. Uh-oh. Couldn't find this remote repo. Why? Is there a typo? Is it called animals branch or animal branch? So the answer is yes. So you can pull directly. So for example, if you are on the animal branch, you can pull directly the main branch to the animal branch. The answer is yes. But I'd recommend that you pull from the remote repo main branch to your local repo main branch before you merge the main branch to your animal branch, so that your main branch on your local repo is also up to date. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know this a little bit tricky to understand, like the remote repo, the local repo, and all the branches, but you will get used to that when you practice on your lab or your major project. Joshua is asking, is there a visual guide for the steps on merging and branching stuff? So here's the one that we showed at the beginning. So this is the visual representation of merging and branching. So it's like a tree structure. You can create new branch. You can also merge back. Are you lost or are you okay? Okay? Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's good to know. So I think we've covered these, and we covered this. We have already mentioned that. Covered. Okay.